My boss is screwed because I turned down a promotion and it's hilarious. The director of the company came to me the other day and said he wanted me to take over the role of one of my coworkers, a deputy team leader, and all the extra responsibilities that come with it. The catch: I get no more money for it and no promotion in my job title for a year. I obviously said no because it's ridiculous. There's literally nothing in it for me and I'm planning to leave soon anyway. Then they had a 2-hour-long meeting today trying to figure out what to do because I said no. Nobody else in the department is capable. They don't want to hire outside the company and they have people quitting left, right and center. They treat everybody so unfairly and I just love that they're suffering for their money grabbing actions. So a word of advice: if you are or ever will be a manager, treat your workers well or all the decent ones will leave. Edit. Thanks for the awards everyone. Especially the gold. My M23X F24 accidentally did the only nice thing she's ever done for me. I dated my GF for a little less than a year. She broke up with me over text when I was at my parents' for Christmas. Last weekend she accidentally texted me a selfie of her and some guy at a clubber. Then she apologized saying it was meant for someone else. Until she sent me that picture I really wanted her back. That picture made me realize how terrible she actually was. I was a chubby kid, so I have to really work on my weight. She would always comment on what I ate or say that it looked like I'd gained a few pounds. She said it's just because she was concerned about my health. I'm 6'ft 195 lbs. I freak out when I go over 200. I'm physically healthy, but still very insecure, and it's not mentally healthy to obsess. She also criticizes my friends. A few of us live together because we're all just out of college and can't afford our own places. She says I'm an underachiever because I don't make a lot. It's my first real job, so it's not much money, but it's a good career path and I make similar to what my friends make. Every time I told her she was too critical, she justified it by saying that she just wanted the best for me. I texted her back thanking her for showing what a terrible girlfriend and person she was. That she always made me feel bad about myself, and seeing her hooking up with some guy made me realize that I'm going to be much happier without her. She told me to F off. I just wanted to say thank you, Chloe. You accidentally helped me move on from you, and I feel bad for whoever is in that picture with you. My husband has never respected me during 17.5 years. My husband has cheated on me countless times from 2006 to 2024. Even gave me a disease 10 plus years ago that he still won't admit to. I picked him over my mom. Now she's dead, and I don't have anyone. We got together 2 weeks after I turned 18. I feel like he stole my youth, knowing the whole time he didn't want to be with me. He's used me for shelter and food the entire time. He's abusive, a liar and a manipulator. After he disappeared in September, I gave him an ultimatum. Turn your location on 100% of the time or kick rocks. He said he's old school and don't believe in that. He said I'm crazy. He said I'm trying to control him. He said he wouldn't get the F out of my house until I filed for divorce. All the while he's cultivating outside relationships. No. I've held this man down in every imaginable way. I've paid his bonds to get him out of jail. Paid his child support on his other kid he don't take care of to get him out of jail. Drug him to the hospital when he's super sick. Even though I was sick too. I've dropped everything at any time to be there for him. I've had my ass beat in public while pregnant with our child. I've paid all the bills for the duration of our relationship because he can't keep a job. What do I get? Cheated on during the worst times of my life. I see posts all day every day about someone cheating and asking advice. My advice to all of you is to immediately sever all ties with cheaters and liars. You don't need that in your life 9 times out of 10. It will never get better. That person has shown their true self. Some people are just like that. My husband admitted to his friends that he didn't find me beautiful. Nothing feels the same anymore. I'm newly married. After our honeymoon, my husband had a group video call with his best friends. After I said hello and chatted for a bit with them, I excused myself to go for a walk. I decided I needed to get my raincoat because it looked like it was about to rain, but my husband and his friends thought I've already got out. They started interrogation about our honeymoon and they were all teasing and laughing until one of his best friends asked him if my looks were still an issue for him. My husband told her that he loved me and that we had a great honeymoon and that I'm beautiful on the inside, and he said you can't have it all. She insisted on wondering whether he felt he downgraded from his ex-girlfriend, and he said maybe, but me, makes me happy. Another friend then interjected and said I wasn't bad looking if I lost some weight. My husband agreed. Nothing feels the same anymore. I always knew I wasn't beautiful, but I thought that he liked how I looked, or at least didn't mind it so much. I know he values my other qualities and that he loves me and is very kind to me, but I don't feel good with him and I haven't been happy since that day, 5 weeks ago. I have lost weight under these weeks and he's paid me a lot of compliments about that, but I don't want him commenting anything about my physical appearance anymore. I hate every encouraging word he has to say, and yet I feel like I need to be more appealing to him. I feel so much hurt, it's insane. Frown. My girlfriend lied about our vacation, and I'm beyond angry. So, for context, me and my girlfriend have been together for a very long time. Everything is perfect. However, lately she and I haven't been able to see each other as often as we would like. She is busy with finishing her school, and I myself have been very busy with work. So, we planned a vacation together. As soon as we finally had time for one another, we planned a vacation to a country we both have never been to, and where an old friend of hers lives. Let's refer to her as BB, as someone who I personally despise. She's a textbook narcissist, as well as having cheated on her boyfriend multiple times, who for the record is a pretty stand-up guy. As soon as we were planning the vacation, it became apparent that we were going to pay this friend of hers a visit, seeing as we're there anyway, as well as the fact that B's birthday is sometime during our vacation. I of course thought little of it. We'll pay her a visit for her birthday, eat some cake and break open a bottle of wine. Ick now, the usual. My girlfriend knows that I despise B, but she also knows that I can play nice. I mean, it's just a day, or so I thought. A couple weeks before our departure, she informed me that 2 other friends of hers, let's call them C and D, were also going to the same country during the same time as our trip. Once again, I thought little of it. Maybe they heard we were going, and seeing as the trip is quite cheap, perhaps they wanted to go as well. Then I was told they were on the same flight as us. Fine, I thought, I can deal with that. We'll have to travel with them for a little while, but after that it's finally just me and my girlfriend getting the quality time we deserve. Then, just days prior, I found out that C and D are in the hotel as us. In fact, they were in the exact opposite room as ours. Strange, I thought, but perhaps another coincidence. Our hotel is quite cheap, so maybe they happened to book the same one as us, and the room was just a coincidence. 2 days ago, we finally arrived, and that's when I finally learned the truth of this vacation. She had made plans with her friends on every single day. There was no time or opportunity for me to be alone with my partner. In fact, B was also going to be with us every day. In fact, she was the one who made most of the plans for our group, which I never agreed to. And of course B chose all kinds of things which I despise. B despises me as much as I despise her, seeing as I was the one who exposed her cheating to her boyfriend a long time ago. Now my girlfriend expects me to do everything she and her friends are going to do, which I don't want to. I wanted to have a nice calm vacation with my partner after months of us not being together. It honestly feels like she has no respect for me anymore. I talked to her about it, and she just said she doesn't know what else to do, and she doesn't want to disappoint her friends. Honestly, I'm at a loss here. I'm considering just booking a solo ticket back without telling my girlfriend and just leaving as soon as possible. It feels like I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm the fifth wheel with people I don't even like, especially not B. I'm just beyond angry. Parking should be free at hospitals. I hate the fact that I have to pay to go to work. I'm a nurse. There are so many of my coworkers who just park illegally or park on the street, blocks away sometimes, to avoid paying for parking. Parking illegally lands you eventually in the toll list. Parking on the streets can be super sketchy, and it's scary to walk to your car late at night if you work in the late evening. It also adds up, especially if you're a full-time worker. The worst is, if you're a patient and you drive yourself to the hospital or take a family or friend, you're stuck in emergency room for who knows how long. You leave with a hospital bill that is hopefully all covered by insurance. And parking fees to pay. Sincerely, sick and tired of paying to go to work. Update. OMG you guys, I just woke up and have to go to my shift in like an hour. I was not expecting this to blow up. I will gladly try to read as much as I can later on my break. Thank you for reading, and I appreciate all your responses. I'm gonna be thinking of you all later when I pay for parking yet again. Also, my mama didn't raise me without manners, so thank you for the awards. It made my person glowy. I'm glowing on the inside, haha. Update 2. I'm on my break trying to read what y'all posted, and damn, I loved reading all the different stories everyone had and experiences with fucking lame ass no parking for hospital stuff. SMH man. I was so salty paying my fucking parking fee today. Hope y'all have a good day. Fuck redditors who go deep through your post history to attack you when it's not even relevant to the topic. I made a snarky reply to a redditor, and he dug up a post I made a couple years ago on Rasusa2Batch about how I wanted to commit suicide since I have never been in a relationship, even though I'm in my mid-20s. that have absolutely nothing to do with the post or what we were talking about. Keep in mind, he had to look through several pages of my submission history to even come across that. Fuck people like this so much. If you get annoyed by someone, do you just look through their post history to dig up whatever shit you can to humiliate and slander them? I just found out the reason my parents divorced. My parents have been divorced since I can remember. I'm now 21 years old and have been living with my mother for most of my life. I never had weekends or holidays with dad, as some kids with divorced parents have. My mother was basically my sole caretaker, while my dad visited me and took me out to eat sometimes. As I grew older and got a phone, my dad definitely took the time to call me and message me multiple times a day, which I guess created a false sense of closeness because I never really did spend much time with him. To put it in context, I had only ever visited his home once, and that was the cataclysmic event that kickstarted the divorce. This happened when I was about 2 or 3 years old, and is a memory that I remembered recently. My mom had never once spoken bad about my dad, or talked about the reason they divorced, and I guess I just never asked. I struggle with depression and anxiety, and usually try not to think about my problems, in order to function as well as I can. Maybe I should have. From the moment I turned 18 years old, my dad started to want to introduce me to his side of the family that I have never met before. I was unsure and uncomfortable, so I talked to my mom about it. My mother then, for the first time, explained that she and his side of the family didn't get along because they hated her for no apparent reason. She confessed that she didn't want me to meet them because she was afraid that they'd treat me bad or make me obligated to them in a weird family way. It was a long talk, and at the end I decided that I didn't have a reason to meet them, and that my life would continue just fine without this new family addition. Slowly, however, my dad convinced me to meet my cousins, and then his sister and his wife and her 2 daughters. This is where I should have talked to my mom again. I've known his wife for about 2 years now, but we've met about 4 or 5 times. All this time I've been referring to her as his girlfriend, because that's what I thought she was. This September I had to go to the hospital due to an infection and my dad came with me. That's when he told me that she's actually his wife. He said it in such a casual way, and I was so sick that I didn't really have the mental capacity to deal with that information right then and there. I'll let him know it made me sad he hadn't included me in such an important part of his life, and his response was that it happened in 2012 when I was 10 and that he didn't really consider marrying with just the papers and not in a church, a real marriage. The reason I hadn't told my mom about his wife for so long was that I thought she was his girlfriend that he had for a short amount of time and therefore didn't think it important to upset my mom. 1 month later, my mom had to get some documents sorted, and that's when she found out he was married. She called him to ask and told him to tell me because it would hurt me not to know. He lied at first, then said the same stuff he told me, didn't tell her I knew, and then started saying some not so nice stuff to her. After this phone call he called me and asked me if he had ever told me, as if he forgot, but I knew it was some weird way to include me in his lie, and told me my mom called him and had found out. I tried to ignore this whole thing had ever happened because in a way I've never felt part of my dad's life, so I wasn't surprised. I got invited however to his wife's daughter's wedding in July, and that was definitely something I needed to tell my mom. So I told her yesterday, and now I feel like my heart is crumbling. My mom broke down and told me that they divorced due to my dad cheating and living a double life with a second phone and home and everything, all with his now wife. My mom had found out from me as a kid telling her about his other house and this other lady. My mom hasn't really figured it out, but he was basically manipulating and gaslighting her their whole relationship and marriage, while also financially abusing her in making her fund his life and making her go in debt. When they divorced, she was so in debt she was working 14 hours every day. I remember as a kid she was working all the time, and I raised myself to be as independent emotionally as I can be. Now I find out her life and my childhood became so messed up because of him. To this day she has never wanted to date anyone else, and her trust on men has been so destroyed. She's lonely and insecure, and for 20 years had to put up with him because she didn't want me to have a bad image of him in my mind. I feel so guilty for not telling her before, and so sad for how he treated her, and that he probably doesn't even love me all that much. I have to tell him to cancel my ticket for the wedding now, and it's stressing me out. I want to lay in my bed and rot for now. I don't know how to process this, and I guess I never thought I'd have to doubt him and his role in my life.